this video, we have some impressive comic book sales to talk about and one not impressive sale to talk about, all of which have examples and lessons on how to make us better collectors and wiser investors, which is what this channel is all about. But before we hop into the list, if you're watching this the day it comes out, we have a massive Whatnot show. It's shaping up to be more than we'll get through this Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific time. There's a link down in the description for $15 towards your first purchase. We'll have a bunch of books in the Buy It Now for $15. So if you use my link to sign up for the first time, you can stop by and pick up a free book. We have hundreds of slabs that are going to be $1 starts. If you win 2 giveaways in the show, you get to spin the wheel for your chance at $1,000. Someone almost hit it last time, and somebody has hit it. I think it's 3 times now. We've given away $1,000, either cash or store credit. So it's going to be a ton of fun, and I hope to see you there. We also do a monthly giveaway here on the YouTube channel. If you subscribe to the channel, comment on this video or every video, each comment is an entry. At the end of the month, I pick a video. Pro tip, I usually pick the video with the least amount of views, so those diehard fans get the shot at the free giveaway, and use a random comment picker and pick a random comment, and then I will comment on them and announce it in a future video. We also do a giveaway at brycecomics.com. If you sign up for the newsletter over there, you get first access to new collections. Tons of new stuff always come in. We just got some massive collections, tons of great deals over at brycecomics.com. If you use code COLLECT10, you get 10% off all in-stock items, and that code is always active. We're also always buying here at Bryce Comics, so if you have a collection you're looking to sell, hit me up for a free quote. I'll get you fast, fair quote and get you paid quick. We also, are always buying grails. If you have some big boy books, if you ever get in a position you're looking to move on, don't be afraid to reach out, and I will give you my best offer. So with that said, let's hop into the computer. So we're going to be pulling from this list here. This is the Hot 10 runners-up that Key Collector Comics releases every single week. They do the Hot 10, and then there's some honorable mentions, books that don't quite make it into, the Hot 10, but that had impressive sales nonetheless. And I think there's a lot of really interesting trends and sales and things to talk about in some of these books. So let's get started here with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe #1. This is the 1 in 25 variant from 2013 for the first cover appearance of She-Ra in a U.S. comic book, posting a massively impressive sale, $1,615 for a CGC 9.8. Now, there's 2 different series for this, one from 2012 DC that also has a 1 in 25 variant that's very expensive, and then there's the 2013 series that has the 1 in 25 variant that we're talking about here with this massively impressive $1,600 sale. Now, I do not think that this is the new price for this book. I think this was an anomaly sale. If we go over to GPA, we can see that, it's more than double. It's 115% increase from last year in a decline market. I think it was just a case of FOMO, or somebody just wanted it really bad and just was willing to shell it out just so they could finally cross it off their list. But I think it's just an anomaly sale. The actual value is probably going to come right back around to where it was sitting for the last, handful of years, around that $600, $700 range. But the main reason that I wanted to bring this up and talk about this is that this is one of those books that very well could be tucked away in a long box somewhere, tucked away in a back issue bin. Like, this is a book that when it came out in 2013, I'm sure you could have bought it from the shop for $10 or so, $10 or $20. And it's very possible that somebody just liked this cover and it made it into their collection. And they had no idea that it became a very desirable collectible because it's the first cover appearance of She-Ra. They just, liked it at the time. So keep your eyes peeled for this book. This is something that wasn't on my radar. And if something comes in from around that era, somebody has a whole bunch of, DC and Marvel books from the 2000s, it's very possible that this book could be sitting in there and you could be sitting on, hundreds of dollars, a nice little payday if you find this in the back bins. Next, we have Ghost Rider #1. This book is really cool, really desirable book. Every time I've had it come through the shop, it always sells quickly. It's from 1950 from Magazine Enterprises, and it's the first solo series of a Golden Age Ghost Rider, who's also known as Rex Fury, previously the Calico Kid. And I think that this book might be getting a little bit of help from confusion or misconception. There's got to be at least a few people that have bought this book thinking that it's the first appearance of the Ghost Rider, or like some version of, like, this version of Ghost Rider became the version that we all know and love in the Marvel comics. They're not the same character. This is a Golden Age Western, and so typically, Westerns in any era are not highly desirable, but this book definitely has some stuff going for it. It's got this cover by Dick Ayers, I believe. It's got cool trade dress. It's got cool artwork. It's a #1. And then, of course, the name Ghost Rider, which is such a popular character these days, but, don't get it twisted. It is not associated with that. It's just surprising to me that so many people would want to collect this for what it is, a Golden Age Western. But an impressive sale, nonetheless, $2,750 for a 7.0, a 54% increase from 2022, which is impressive. In today's market, to see a 54% increase is definitely an impressive sale. And it's probably really difficult to find anything 7.0 or greater for this book because, it's from 1950. Next, we have Batman 227. Here it is, posting new records, this iconic art by Neil Adams. And look at this art. I mean, good Lord. I see this book in so many YouTube videos, including my own, of course. And, here's another one. And I think the days of, finding this book for a reasonable price are probably a thing of the past. Absolutely stunning artwork here by Neil Adams, and continuing to post impressive sales, up 26% from October, which is impressive. $2,150 for an 8.0. I remember selling an 8.0 for much less than $2,000, and I remember regretting it at the time. I remember making a post going like, "Oh, this one hurts." I think it was like $1,100, like closer to the boom. This is just one of those books that it doesn't follow any of the other market trends. So incredible artwork here for Batman 227. More incredible artwork for House of Secrets 106, cover art by Bernie Wrightson. I mean, good Lord. I don't know what it is about this cover art, but it just slaps so hard for me. The trade dress, the color schemes on it, the pose that she has, something about this cover just does it for me. At 9.6, posting an impressive sale for $710, which is only up 18%, but any increase from 2022 in today's market is notable, and I'm sure that this book in a 9.6 is very difficult to come by, and you can probably find a low-grade copy for a very reasonable price for this. Lots of low-grade copies of this series, and the high grades are exceedingly rare, especially with a black cover like this. I'm sure a 9.8 would be incredibly difficult to find. Next, we have Dave Stevens. Still posting records. Planet Comics #1, Dave Stevens Fever in full effect, 9.0, sold for $400. And there's this other Dave Stevens cover, DN Agents #24 from 1985, with an $875 sale for a 9.8, up 7%, which, is just a little bit, but it's trending up. And the reason I bring these books up is that, just as a word of caution for people, because I know that this is hitting, all kinds of social media posts and hot lists. And I just, as a word of caution, if history has taught me anything, it might not be a good time to pull the trigger on big dollar books for Dave Stevens, because I've had several people reach out to me recently with raw collections of Dave Stevens. Several different people have said, "Hey, I have, a whole short box of Dave Stevens covers, including the DN Agents and the Planet Comics one, like all of them." Like, Dave Stevens is finally getting the respect that he deserves as one of the best good girl artists of all time. He's finally getting that street cred, and there's a ton of people that are finding out about him for the first time. But there's also a lot of people that have known about him for a long time, and they have those short boxes of Dave Stevens books. So I think there might be a rush to grade Dave Stevens stuff. I think there might be more copies hitting the market, and I think that the fervor and the FOMO might wear off. So you combine all of those things, we might get a perfect storm where we see a correction in prices for Dave Stevens books. So just a word of caution, if you have to have it, by all means, this hobby is about enjoying yourself and collecting, but I do believe there might be better times to buy in on these fabulous Dave Stevens keys than right now. Next, I want to talk about a sale that, in my opinion, is not impressive. And you see stuff like this a lot. This is Batman number 61 from 1950, the first cover appearance and origin of the second Batplane. So really not really a Batman key. And it posted a 5.5, sold for $550, which is an 87% increase from 2013. 11 years, 87% return on investment for Golden Age comic book, or any comic book for that matter, is not impressive in my opinion. And so I just wanted to provide this as an example that just because it's old doesn't mean it's valuable or a good investment, and just because it's valuable doesn't mean that it's old. I mean, we saw the examples of both of those things here in this video. Here's an old book that's not a good investment, and here's a new book that is very expensive. So the reason I bring this up is a word of caution that if you see this book and you think, man, $550 for a 5.5 for a Golden Age book, that seems like a great deal. Don't get tricked into buying a book that you just think is too good of a deal to pass up if it doesn't fit in your collection. This is, if you're not a Batman fanatic, you probably don't need the first cover appearance and origin of the second Batplane. If you're not a completionist and you're not completing this run, you probably don't need this issue. And for $550, just think of how many other more significant keys for Batman, even if it's a more recent issue. But for $550, I think you could find something that has way better return on investment than just 87% over 11 years, which you see a lot with Golden Age like run fillers, or even Silver Age run fillers, or things like that. So just avoid that temptation to pick up any book because it seems like a good deal if it doesn't really fit into your collection, because just think of all the other things you can actually buy. Another example of that here, if we go over to brycecomics.com, tons of awesome new stuff. Look at this, 301 products. Some of them are sold out, but a lot of really cool inventory that just came in to brycecomics.com. But if you go over here, you can sort, and if we sort by old to new, if find something interesting, is an example of what I'm talking about here, is here's a Golden Age book from 1949, Exciting Comics number 68, Alex Schomburg cover, that is one of the longest standing items in my inventory. I've had this book almost as long as anything in the shop right now. This, in other words, nobody wants to buy it. It's a notable artist on a Golden Age book, but yet nobody really wants it. I mean, wouldn't you think that a 6.5 Alex Schomburg from 1949 would be worth more than, like, I don't know, Venom number 3, the first appearance of Knoll or something? And yet, like, it's just not. And so this is the point that I'm trying to make, is if you see something like this at auction, and it's kind of hit or miss, you'll like, why is this one, this Alex Schomburg, like, nobody seems to really care? And then you have stuff like this for Patches number 1, cover art by L.B. Cole. L.B. Cole is another one of those artists, I would put probably in the same category as Alex Schomburg, just highly collectible, notable artists from the same type of era in the Golden Age. But why this book? This book had a crazy impressive sale, 5.0 for $1,200 for Patches number 1. And then there's other L.B. Cole books that just do not bring in good money, that don't have it, I guess, and people just don't go crazy for it. But then you have Patches number 1. So just something to keep in mind. Just because it's a notable artist, just because it's old, doesn't necessarily mean that you should pull the trigger on it if there's other options available. So thank you once again for sticking with me all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget, we have those monthly giveaways and a massive Whatnot show tomorrow. Subscribe, comment, like, head over to brycecomics.com, sign up for the newsletter over there, and check out all the awesome goodies at brycecomics.com. Appreciate you guys as always, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.